All right, so we're back here again. We're starting new weeks, starting with the new modules, and so hopefully you guys maybe enjoyed the first set of videos. And if you didn't, I don't really know what to tell you, right? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Because this is the way the course is being presented, and hopefully you'll be able to adapt. Although maybe I have some feedback, I can adjust it for future students. But here we are starting this next block, and so what we're ending up talking about this week is that, so we sort of introduced this first idea of like how we evaluate theory, and like what we're trying to do, what makes a good explanation, what doesn't, what kind of things are we trying to incorporate. So when we think about things like parsimony and the evidence behind like a particular theory, it's very important that we keep this going, and that does it make sense, is it clear, is it precise, and as we illustrated, right, they're very important for a number of different things. So for this week though, it's important that we know that keep these criteria in mind, but there are other aspects that we should account for, something that may not be clear or may not come of note to anyone. And so what we'll be talking about in this particular section are correlates of crime, right? Now, what do I mean by a correlate? So, recurring theme that we'll think about is that when we think about crime today, that there are known patterns, right? Now, what differentiates a pattern from randomness? If you think about something that's random, right? It could be if we think about like a dice roll, right? It's very even. You have a 1 in 6 chance of getting a 3, a 4, a 1, whatever, right? So each dice roll is independent. There's no relationship at all, right? And so you might see something weird, right, where we see like a 6 show a bunch of times, but it's random, right? If we assume the die is like perfectly fair in all aspects. So there's nothing there that we explain. It's just random, right? And if we think about like criminal behavior, right, we could believe that this is something that's random, right? Everyone is literally capable of committing more crime. You're capable if you're 99 years old, if you're, once you at the age of culpability, you're capable of doing it like at 10, 15, 28, well, like whatever, right? Everyone has the capability of making crime, right? There's also, there's really no reason. It doesn't matter where you live. You can do it if you live in the bougiest of bouge, or if you're in the slummiest of slums, right? Like everyone has the capability of doing it, right? But if we look at crime data, right, and that's an important part, right? We look at crime data, which may not, perfectly capture crime as itself. If you remember from intro, there's a lot of different ways we collect crime data. That's a different discussion. But if we look at crime data, we know that there are known patterns of criminality, right? Things that pop up time and time again, whether we know it or not. And the thing is, right, when we have a pattern, something, right, that suggests that something is non-random. And so there's no, so when it's non-random, right, it suggests that there is something that's happening in the world. And the thing is, right, patterns don't have to exist, but the fact that they do exist means that they can possibly be explained, right? So if we are able to demonstrate why a pattern exists, or know why that pattern exists, we may be in a better position to explain it, right? So when we think of, how does this apply though to theories and theories of crime and things like that? So the big thing that comes up, right, is that if a theory is able to explain a pattern of behavior, something that we know is consistent with criminal behavior, then it's more true or accurate in criminality, right? Now, part of it is when we think about original theories, right, we may not think about it exclusively it was designed to explain a correlate because sometimes data weren't available. But what you should be asking yourself throughout the course is, if we learn about a theory, whether that's labeling theory, whether that is general strain theory, deterrence, and these are all things we'll talk about later, but how do they explain these correlates of crime, these patterns of crime? So the ones that we'll focus on the most for this course, there are more that you can explore, and some of it we'll touch on a little bit more throughout the course. But the big ones that we'll be talking about are age, so how old someone is, the ethnic background of someone, as well as poverty-related issues, and gender, or the biological sex, excuse me, I guess is a more appropriate way of saying it, because the idea of gender has changed a lot since stuff was first theorized, right? So what we'll end up doing is that we'll talk about these videos, we'll talk about these correlates, we'll kind of give an overview of like how they work, where they are, things like that, and explore them a little bit more. So I'll do like a little bit of talking, we'll do a little drawing, it'll all work out great, I promise. And if not, you know what, I shouldn't promise that because maybe it's complete garbage. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.